introducing you to two very important people here at Home Park. Huge influences behind the success of Project 35 over the last 3 years. You may know that today's fixture is a dedicated Project 35 fixture, and we've been urging you all to come along to donate either cans, food and a tap of your card maybe, to tell us all about it, to tell us how to donate, where the money goes, and really just anything to do with Project 35. I'm thrilled to say that we have been joined in the studio first thing this morning by Debbie Moss from Ginsters and Alice Young from the Argyle Community Trust. Good morning, both of you. Thank you for being with us, and nice and bright as well this morning in your green and red outfits. It's going to be a big day ahead for you, isn't it? I mean, let's start with you, Debbie. I mean, you know, how have you found? We're about 3 years now into Project 35.
Yeah.
Like, how have you found it's progressed over that time?
I mean, the supporters from the club have been absolutely amazing. I mean, they've really embraced the project and get on board through, whether it's through volunteering or supporting through donation days, schools with their assemblies, donating food. You know, it's really been a Plymouth-wide, if not into Devon and Cornwall-wide, supported initiative.
Yeah, I mean, now is probably a really good time to talk about the plan of action for today, because if anyone is watching the breakfast show that's in Plymouth and is planning on coming to the game, Alice, what are you wanting fans to do today?
Yeah, so we're going to be outside the front of the stadium at the Devonport end. From 12 o'clock we're setting up our bright pink gazebo, so you can't miss us. And we'll be taking donations from fans today, and people that are just walking past as well that might know that we're here. It's kind of those moments at the beginning of the game where the fans are building, and it kind of it starts trickling to start with, but by kind of 1 p.m. there's loads of people and they're dropping off their donations, and we ask if every fan here today bought a tin, then we would get over 15,000 tins. So we really hope that fans can support and get behind like they have done for previous match days.
I think it's kind of Project 35 solidified itself really, you know, within the Argyle ethos. I mean, you know, we were fortunate enough to have it, you know, the logo and everything in previous. And when you have specific fixtures like this, how beneficial actually is that to kind of have a takeover day and be, you know, out in front of everyone?
I think it helps us target our sort of campaigning. You know, we've had really good social media response from both the club and the trust. Even having the head coach to send a video out asking for the supporters. I mean, to have the coaching staff on board, it just really shows the support from the club itself, you know, through Ginsters and the Community Trust. We're the ones sort of on the ground, you know, working in each of the projects within Project 35. But to know that we've got the support of the club, I mean, that's immense for us, really.
Yeah, I mean, we can see some pictures there from previous match days. Like you said, the bright pink gazebo, it's noticeable. There's no way anyone's going to miss it. Of course, the Project 35, the name in itself was obviously, you know, related to, you know, the poverty that we were seeing in the city. How have you seen that change, develop? Has it improved? You know, where are we looking 3 years on?
I mean, while we try and do our best, we can't eradicate food poverty, and with the cost of living crisis continuing, it's really hard, but we still maintain that momentum, you know, and help those that we can. There's always going to be other families that are then on board because they're going through, whether it's a temporary crisis and need the support from Project 35. So, you know, it's not that we're certainly not seeing less people, are we?
Yeah, and I think what maybe a lot of people don't know about Project 35 is that we're supporting in so many different ways. So from kind of families that are living in temporary accommodation, and I think that's quite a big one where people do forget that that's in the city, and it's quite a big issue. It's something that we started, I think, in the first year of the project, and it was around December time that we started that. And we were kind of trialling it to see if it was something that would be supportive for the city, and it really was, and it was really well received. And we've continued that, and that's something that happens weekly now, as part of our Grab a Ginsters campaign, which has got a handy title because it's memorable. And then as that's kind of evolved, we've kind of tagged other things into that, so it's also supporting young people across the city. So through our work in the community trust, we go out and deliver youth-based sessions. So at those sessions, every young person can come and access a product, and that happens weekly. So even though these kind of like big events happen like every so often, and we have like tin collections and we do our Christmas hampers and like big things happen, there's always things happening weekly that are smaller, but they're the more impactful things that are actually benefiting people that are living in Plymouth and wider as well. So.
Well, I suppose this is the thing, because if you're doing like a food bank collection, you know, like out the front of Home Park today, for example, people may be led to believe that, and completely valid and really important, that it is a food bank situation, but it's not. It's not just as straightforward as that, is it? It's not just like you drop off a tin, you will then give that tin to someone in need. The services you are providing go way beyond that.
It's educational. So, I mean, what we're trying to do is empower children to learn cooking skills and, you know, learn about nutrition and providing meals through low-cost means. So, I mean, at Ginsters, we've had children that have been close to exclusion come down and they've learned how to make a pasty. We've had the Healthy Habits programme. Schools have been really engaged in providing products through donations, so they're having their own appeals that go through to Project 35, and I think that's like 2,700 projects alone just through in school assemblies.
Yeah. And we want like schools and that's primary schools particularly, like we want them to be involved from a young age and see kind of how they can also make an impact and like learn about Project 35 from a younger age and kind of understand it, and then we like to say, like, you've made your little stamp on the project and you've been part of it, which is really great. So we had Healthy Habits, which is what Debbie was talking about there, and that's kind of around education around food and literally healthy habits, like what choices that young people can make, and it's actually quite amazing what young people are learning through that programme and kind of also having conversations thinking, oh, you probably should know this already. So having those conversations is really great, and then towards the end of that programme they do their own social action project towards Project 35, so it all kind of like comes in together and links up, which is really nice.
And then we're continuing the education piece with our Farm to Fork programme.
Okay.
So that is literally learning from basics, what your food is, you know, what you can do with it, to at the end be able to create a healthy menu.
Which is it's more important, I think, than maybe people realise, having that, you know, knowledge is power, and being able to be educated and know how to look after yourself in the best way possible. What's the feedback been like from, you know, those people that get involved with the project that you help? Because, you know, I can imagine in some scenarios people may not want to, you know, openly talk about their need to use the service, for example, or get into it, but presumably you have had conversations and interactions with people that are finding it beneficial. What are they saying?
I mean, it's a lifeline, isn't it? And the community larder up at Manadon, you know, for many people it is a lifeline.
Yeah.
And you know, whether they are using that literally just as a temporary until because circumstances have changed, or a more long-term user, you know, it's really appreciated in that respect, isn't it?
Yeah, and again, that happens weekly, and we started that back in May 2022.
Yeah,
was it?
yeah.
And that's been running really well. We've got kind of 300 members signed up, and a lot of those are coming from communities really close, and around 40 to 50 are attending that weekly. And what we're able to do is attach that to our community cafe as well, so people can come in, they can sit down and have a chat. There's sometimes services there that they can talk to as well, which is really useful, and then they can kind of like seamlessly walk and access the food larder, so it's not kind of like walking into a food bank in a scary environment. It's made into much more of a friendly environment. And yeah, I think at this point I must say, like, our volunteers are absolutely brilliant, and they without them we honestly wouldn't be able to run the food larder. They are a great team, and honestly they're there every morning. They are there the days before and the setup and the preparation. And I mean, today they're here collecting the food that's then on Monday going to be stacked away, sorted, and then put back into the food larder starting on Friday again. So yeah, it's kind of like a continuous process.
And they've dedicated over 7,000 hours to Project 35. So, you know, and without them, and they are all fans of the club, you know, people within our local communities, and, you know, and that's staff that both the club and the trust and, you know, colleagues at Ginsters, all of us are dedicating our time, you know, to ensure that this is a real success.
Yeah, no, super important to recognise all the different people that are involved in that. I know you said before, of course the dream is to eradicate poverty. Unfortunately, things are never as straightforward as that. But going forward, what still needs to be done and why?
Obviously, you know, days like today are immensely important to stock the larder. So, you know, there will be a continuation of this. We will continue with the, you know, education, you know, getting people active. Just, it is that knowledge is power. And, you know, we work with so many students that if we can get ingrained into them how simple it is to make nutritious food to be able to help themselves, and you hope that in the future that they won't have that need to, you know, to need the support from Project 35. But yeah, it's, you know, it's something that we hope will have a long legacy, isn't it?
Yeah, I think legacy is a really nice word to use in that regard. Finally, before we let you both go, if you know, somebody is watching this and it feels like they really need some help from Project 35, how do they reach out about that? And then on the flip side, if there is someone who has time to spare or you know, feels like they could help in any way, are you looking for more volunteers, and how would they get involved?
Yeah, always. We're always looking for volunteers, fresh faces, fresh ideas, different skill sets as well. Some of our volunteers have had amazing jobs and experiences, so everyone's got really valuable experiences. So we're always looking for more volunteers, obviously. And then if anyone wants to get in contact in terms of support, then they can contact myself or my colleague Trevor on our email addresses, or through the club or through the community trust. So our generic email for community trust is community@pafc.co.uk. So we usually direct people to there, and then they can kind of point them in the right direction. But yeah, there's never a silly question, and we always want to look to support people. So if there's any question, then we're happy to kind of take it and see what we can do.
Amazing, that sounds good. Thank you both for coming in this morning,
and
I hope the takeover goes really well, and you get. I know you were saying it can be quite a labour-intensive afternoon when you end up getting, you know, loads of stuff, but hopefully you do get loads of stuff, and you can take a few moments to relax during that. It would be it'd be brilliant to see what the fans pull out of the bag for you, and thank you very much for coming in.